And finally, at long last, we have what was inevitable in the 2000s, the Friday the 13th reboot. Now, why is it a reboot, not a remake? Well, I guess remakes is just when they redo a movie, and then a reboot is when they take like a seemingly new first installment in a big franchise, hoping to spawn a whole other franchise. And this is from the producers and everybody pretty much from Chainsaw Massacre remake or reboot. Produced by Michael Bay, who I'm not a fan of, Andrew Form and Brad Miller. Story by, Mark Swift, who helped write Freddy vs. Jason. Damian Shannon, Mark Wheaton. I'm not quite sure what else they've done. I've seen their names before, definitely. But, also produced by Sean Cunningham. Directed by Marcus Nispel, who directed Chainsaw Massacre remake. And I will say, I do like the Chainsaw Massacre remake. I'm sorry, but I do. I actually like it better than most of the other Chainsaw Massacre films, not the original. Now, Friday the 13th, I think the reason why this one often gets the pass and why I enjoy it is because it is really hard to fuck up a Friday the 13th movie. I mean, in my book, yeah, they fucked up 3 times. Taking him to Manhattan, going to hell, and going to space. I mean, only because Friday the 13th is such a simple formula. To have a group of friends, like young friends, horny, partying friends, out in the woods, cabin, camp, whatever, be killed off one by Jason, you have a final girl at the end. All you need. And yeah, when they tried to do something different, I thought they failed. The formula is so simple. That's why they made like 7 of that formula. Yeah, they did some different stuff within that, but the big question is, how are they going to remake or reboot Friday the 13th? Because Jason was not the killer in the first one. He didn't have his hockey mask in the second one, which was his first film. So how are they going to do it? And they did something that I have to admit was very smart. They took the best bits from the first 4 films, put them together. Like during the opening credits, you have pretty much the climax of the original film. You have the surviving girl and a Mrs. Voorhees. You see the whole her being decapitated. It implies that it was a young boy, Jason, that witnessed it, which, I mean, isn't really, never no explanation about that. But then you get this, also, then you have, like, the guy looking for his sister, who was a victim before. So, like Rod from part 4, looking for his sister from part 2. You have that aspect in here. You have the transition from the burlap sack to the hockey mask. So you have a little bit of the first 4 in this, which I think are the best movies. And I think it does it well. I mean, especially considering how remakes usually are, this one is definitely one of the better ones. And also, it put Jason back in the woods by himself, made him human again, not just a zombie. And I actually like the look of him. I thought Derek Mears did a wonderful job. Now, of course, the beginning, you have a whole group of friends. They're going out to the woods. Of course, 2 of them are looking for a pot field. They all get killed off, except for one. Which I love that shot. One, there's a creepy shot where they find, that's where we hear the campfire story of Jason. It's just like it's done in the second movie. This couple wanders off. They find this cabin where there's a boy's bedroom with a bed. This is Jason. And I mean, Jason, you get this great scene where he comes out of the floor and like grabs a guy down. It's really creepy. Chases this girl back to the camp where like all of her friends are dead. You get this great like downward angle shot of Jason just run. He runs in this one, and it is terrifying. Just running at her, and just as he swings, we get Friday the 13th. And it's like a 19-minute friggin' intro. Almost as long as When a Stranger Calls. I mean, I know people don't like that Jason runs, but he runs in this, and I think it's awesome. I mean, when you get a huge guy running at you and then looking like that, I think that's well done. Then we jump, it's some months ahead. There's a new group of friends going out to, the house of this one guy played by Travis Van Winkle. I've seen him before, but I can't remember what else he's in. And they make this guy look like a jockey, preppy, rich douchebag. And does it very well. And then, of course, Jared Padalecki plays a guy looking for his sister who was in the first group of friends. And it's just Jason starts stalking all of them. Stalking and killing. He definitely seems more intelligent in this one. Like, setting up traps and stuff. I guess the one thing that a lot of people didn't like, and at first I didn't, but then at the same time it kind of makes sense. There's a whole aspect that Jason has tunnels. He has all these tunnels going under Crystal, like under the camp and stuff. That's how we can get around without being seen. I mean, it didn't really bother me. I thought it was kind of far-fetched first time I saw it. Now I've seen so much dumb shit that it doesn't bother me. The only thing that does is they take the mommy complex a little far. Because in the beginning, when that one couple finds the cabin, the boyfriend finds a locket of Mrs. Voorhees and says, hey, it kind of looks like you. So she's wearing it. So when Jason's running at her right before the title comes up, she must have shown it to him. So now he thinks she's his mother, and he keeps her chained up down in the tunnels. I mean, that was, I guess, kind of the only thing that was really, I'm still kind of weary about. But, I mean, the deaths are all great. I mean, they're bloody, they're brutal. There's this one Asian guy who, I mean, he's the comic relief, but I think he's funny as hell. He gets like a screwdriver, like through here, and he's like gurgling on all his blood. And I was surprised because he makes a joke that in like 13 movies, no one's made. He's out in the shed and he has this hockey stick, and Jason comes up to him and he's like, you looking for this? It would totally complete your outfit. I thought that was funny. There is sort of a weird scene where Jared Padalecki is going around giving out flyers like, have you seen me? Of his sister. And there's this old woman in her house where she's like, these are his woods. All you need to do is leave him alone. Like implying I know it's sort of the whole you're doomed, don't go there kind of Hansel and Gretel type aspect that the first one had with Crazy Ralph. But it's like, I don't know. I sort of have mixed feelings about that because for a while Jason was like an urban legend. It's just like, yeah, we know he's killing people. That's why we don't go in there. It's kind of weird. There is one death that was in the original script that I wish was actually in it. This couple, actually, they take the lead guy, the one who owns the house, they take his boat out when they're not supposed to. The guy gets an arrow through the head. She's water skiing, so she's like, they actually have like, there's the couple, there's her scene. She's like out in the water. She sees Jason on the bank, and what happens is she just swims to a dock, and she's like hiding, and then all of a sudden a machete comes through, hits her. But then there's this cool thing where he picks it up. When he gets it out, she just sinks. I guess in the original script, it was supposed to show her just swimming down the middle of the lake for like a while, with Jason just like walking like with her. Then it was going to show the friends for a little bit more. Then at nighttime, it was going to go back, show her still swimming with Jason still walking with her, and she just dies of exhaustion. I thought that would have been a neat psychological death, but they changed it. And then there's also that hillbilly death who was in a couple episodes of season 6 of Dexter. He's like this guy that, he's smoking weed. And it's weird because he was like, are you the one that's been stealing our kerosene? Like, Jason's been going there for a while but hasn't killed anybody. For like a brief moment, he rips the sack off Jason's head, and we kind of get to see it. And he's like, that's fucked up, man. Kills him. Then he finds the hockey mask, and we see that moment where he puts it on. He kind of checks himself out. I love that shot when he's in the house, and he grabs this one girl, and it's like his hands over his mouth, and there's up close of his camera, and it's like his eye looking through the hockey mask. Like, Derek Mears has said he's kind of like if you take, the hell did he say? Did he say Frankenstein's monster? No, he said if you take Rambo and the Abominable Snowman from the Looney Tunes, pet you and play with you and name you George. Because of how he treats the one girl who he thinks is his mother. Travis Van Winkle didn't really get that great of a death, but I still thought it was really creepy. He's like running, which you see him scream like a girl, which is hilarious. So this like tow truck or something pulls up. He goes to ask the guy for help, and then Jason just picks him up, slams him on this piece of equipment that goes through him. And then, like, you see his vision, because the driver, like, fucks off. You see, like, his vision of Jason is getting smaller as he's driving away, but he's, like, dying because this shit's, like, going through him. I mean, I know this review's kind of all over the place, but, I mean, it's a Friday the 13th movie. It's people going to a place in the woods, and they get killed one by one. The showdown, though, the brother and sister are reunited. They're in the barn. And, they get a chain wrapped around them. They throw it into, like, this wood chipper. And there's, like, this moment where you really feel bad for him. And I don't think anybody's really played Jason quite like this. He's looking at the girl who this whole time he thought was his mother. And he's, like reaching for her. And, like, you can't see his face. But you can tell. Probably would have added another dimension if. It probably would have given Derek Mears a great chance to act through the makeup and really make Jason look like a victim, which I think would have been neat to have him. But they kept the hockey mask on. Then they, of course, you have the classic jump scare, which they stopped after a while. Them pushing Jason into the water. She throws the locket. Then almost in slow motion, he just jumps up and grabs her. And it's mid-scream, it just cuts. I mean, yeah, this review's been all over the place, but it's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah, it's just pretty decent-sized body count, good kills. I mean, it's a little funnier than some other ones. Like, I can't really think of any examples other than some of the shit the Asian guy says. I remember it being quite funny, funnier than the other ones. One thing I can say, though, is killer cut. Why? It's still rated R. I mean, it's not unrated or anything. There's no added scenes. additional slash scenes and explore the rebirth of Jason Voorhees for a new movie-going era. Each one's like 2 or 3 minutes, so it's not much of a special edition at all. I mean, they go more in depth with this on both His Name Was Jason and Crystal Lake Memories. Not much to it. But as a remake, I thought it was well done. And even for just a modern Friday the 13th movie, I think it was also pretty well done. It was kind of a breath of fresh air. After, parts 8, 9, Jason X. Freddy vs. Jason was like the novelty film that, just feels cool because they're finally together. But it felt good just to go back to the basics, which I think this series desperately needed. And this is the only one that I think deserved a sequel, way more than Rob Zombie's Halloween. But of course, all ideas for a sequel were scrapped. Now, I know there's a video game that has either come out or is coming out. I don't know. I think Paramount is actually, because Paramount rebought the rights for this. This is a Paramount movie. But I think they're about to, well, it says Paramount and New Line, so I don't know what the fuck happened. But I think one of them is about to lose the rights. I think it's Paramount. But it would be nice if another one came out. If it did, it would just be a reboot, but I would have liked to see a sequel to this. I saw this in theaters, and I had a really fun time with it. I thought this was awesome in theaters. Just as a remake or a reboot, is definitely one of the better ones. And I would actually put this over quite a few films in the initial franchise. But for Room 237, that is the last Friday the 13th. That is the whole Friday the 13th series. I finally finished. Hope you enjoyed this playlist, and check out my other reviews. Coming up next will probably be Chainsaw Massacre films in probably August, so stay tuned for that. But for Room 237, that is the whole Friday the 13th series, so thank you.